Welcome to the worst, Chad Austin. It's been a weird few weeks. I haven't been able to make it here every week. It's either been it's mostly just been scheduling conflicts. Like, I hit up my boy Mike because I have a certain way that I do this because I try to pay cash for everything. So I always hit him up and be like, hey, do you have this time slot available? And then he's like, no, not that time slot. And then I do not ever have any other times available because I'm working all the time. And then it just becomes this whole thing of like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to get in here. And so it went from me doing this every week to the last few weeks it's been every other. So if you're one of the 10 people that actually listen to this every week, sorry. But yeah, I mean, I pulled up a bunch of idiotic and weird news stories because I figured that it's kind of pointless to talk about my week because my week is always the fucking same. It's work until I feel like I'm dying and then look at Instagram and think, oh, hey, I should be at that open mic, but I'm exhausted, and then get sad and then go to bed and then wake up and do the whole work thing again. And it's just a fucking cycle of that. And yeah, man. But I guess there are a few fun things that happen at work. I get these people that come in and my favorite type of customers are the ones that think that they know better than you. And I mean, for instance, last night I'm serving this guy. He's sitting at the bar and he orders his food and it comes out and he's like, and he gets all pissed off and he's like, hey man, he's all, this never had, this meat never has this much fat on it. And I was like, well, it comes a certain way and this, that, and that. He's all, I'm telling you, I order this all the time and it never looks like this. So I just looked at him and I said, hey man, are you here as much as I am? I don't think so. And I'm telling you right now that it does come like this. And he didn't like that response. But I was at the end of a work week and I really wasn't feeling the whole kiss somebody's ass type deal. And, at the end of it, I ended up feeling kind of bad that I kind of talked down to him about, his food order and I bought him a beer. But, I mean, it's just days like that, in and out, in and out, in and out. And sometimes they all just kind of blend together and I don't even know what day of the week it is until it's Saturday. And I'm like, I have that little grace of like, oh, I have tomorrow off. And I'm saying this because I know that there are other people that feel this way, where it's just like, fuck, man, it feels like this is going to eat me alive right now. This feels like it's going to just be the end of everything. I am just going to work myself into a fucking early grave. And part of me is okay. And it's this weird double-edged sword because part of me is okay with it. Because part of me is like, I have a family I have to take care of. They're actually right downstairs right now. My kid's probably playing on the open mic stage that I never get to be on. And, my wife has some health issues. She can't work. So it's up to me to take care of the whole family. So part of me is just like, I have to do this. And if I do take an extra day off, then I feel bad because I'm like, am I not making enough money for everything? And it's this weird struggle that happens in my head daily. And I don't know why I'm starting this thing off so fucking real. Maybe it's just the mood I'm in. But that's life, man. Sometimes shit gets a little real and it's not all fun and games. But hey, let's get into some fun and games. So did you guys see this news story about a man that came out of his ass for 2 years? I mean, it was just, it had to be that story after getting so serious. So I guess there was this, let me pull up the story really quick. There's a man that was coming out of his ass for 2 whole years and he did not go see a doctor. The man did not go see a doctor until, and this is how you could just tell that dudes are all fucked up and how they think of things. It's like, dude, ejaculating out of your asshole for 2 years is fine, but 5 days, apparently there was 5 days where his nuts hurt, and that was it for him. As soon as the 5 days happened where he had swollen and hurting nuts, he's just like, I gotta go to the hospital. And since I'm gonna be there, I'll have him check this thing out too. That shit is that shit is hilarious to me because it's, I mean, it's true though. Like we will go. Well, I mean, I've gone years with like a hurt back, fucked up knee, this, that, and the other. But if I feel like my dick or balls are in danger, I will book an appointment that day. And if they can't get in to see me like immediately, then I'm going to the fucking ER. So I mean, they really didn't say much about it. It's really just one of those like anomalies, I guess, that happened. Something happened with some scientific bullshit. No one really cares. But on the while we're talking about, I have like 3 news stories about dicks. While we're talking about dicks and balls and everything, did anybody see the fact that somebody did a study where if you get stung by bees in your penis, it can permanently enlarge it? I want to believe this, but at the same time, I also want to believe that this is the best practical joke where they're just getting all these dudes to like go hang out in beehives and get their shit all stung up. And then it's just like, oh no, man, you're just going to have to deal with this pain, but it's going to shrink back down to the size that you hate and you're uncomfortable with. But also, let's see here. Oh yeah, dude, this one I just saw when I was on my way here today, and I had to like it was like on Instagram, and I scrambled to pull up like an actual story. A lady that works for the NSA had her home raided, and when she had her home raided, they found over 16 million dick pics on her computer at home. I mean, I don't understand why, like. There's that whole like, yo, you've seen one set of tits, you've seen them all, or you've seen one vagina, you've seen them all, and I believe it goes for the same thing with dicks. You've seen one dick, you've seen them all. Yeah, sure, they're like different sizes and everything, but a dick's a dick. Like they all have the same look, well, 2 different looks, I guess, right? The anteater and the helmet, but it's kind of wild to me that, I mean, this lady was so obsessed. She had over 16 million pictures, and then when they asked, by the way, before I get into when they talked to like the lady that worked at the desk next to her and confirmed this lady's obsession with dicks, can I just tell you that her last name, this lady that they arrested for, and it's not just she was downloading them off the internet, she was stealing them off of people's phones. I didn't get into that part yet. She's NSA. So she was going into people's phones and taking their dick pics. I mean, fucking wild, right? Like, imagine that. I mean, I know I'm safe because I've been married for 10 years and I've had no reason to send a dick pic in the last 10 years. So any phone that I had that had a dick pic on it is definitely gone forever by now. But just imagine that. Just imagine being like, you have one person, or, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you Tinder it up and you send dick pics to everybody. But then you just have this random woman named Hillary Wang. Her last name's Wang, dude. She's upset. I mean, there's just layers to this shit that it's so exciting to me. So Hillary Wang was stealing everybody's dick pics. And when they asked basically her cubicle mate if they noticed any weird behavior, she basically says, I mean, it's not basically, a direct quote, she is obsessed with big black penises and the small size of her Chinese boyfriend's penis. I mean, I'm curious, is she okay? Is she's obsessed with big black penises because obviously her boyfriend has a very small penis and she just likes to see the other side of things? But when the lady said that she's obsessed with the small size of her Chinese boyfriend's penis, is she obsessed with like making fun of it, or is she just is it right for her? Is it like the glass slipper scenario? I'm not quite sure, but it's quite a dichotomy of things. If you're obsessed with like the big and the small, it's not really a what Goldilocks and the Three Bears scenario where it's like a just right type situation. She goes all different routes and lengths, and I guess everybody is searching for equality nowadays, right? And this lady just wants to give everybody a little bit of equality. 16 million dick pics. She definitely just doesn't have you know, massive porn dicks on her phone. She has to have all shapes and sizes. So, I mean, as I talk about this more, shout out to this woman. She's a real hero. She's looking at everybody's dick pics, and maybe she is laughing at a few of you. If you want to get really self-conscious for a minute, maybe she is laughing at you, directly at you. But for the most part, I think she just enjoys looking at them. And who am I to say any different? So, okay. The big news story for the past couple weeks, maybe it's been a couple weeks, the Gabby Potito and Brian Laundrie case. This one, if you don't know what it is, these two were hashtag living the van life. And they were traveling from like state park to state park. They're from Florida. So, I mean, if you don't know the end of the story, they're from Florida, so somebody dies. And they were traveling, and I guess they got into a couple kerfuffles, some scuffles, and eventually Brian Laundrie... There are large rats walking on the ceiling right now. No, Brian Laundrie drives home to Florida in her van without her. And then like a few days later disappears on like a wilderness hike or something. And then they start looking for Gabby. And then a week later, like last week, they found her body in a, I can't remember which national park. I think it was somewhere in Arizona or Utah. And then after all this happens, like body cam footage comes out, blah, 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 blah. And everyone is freaking out. I mean, there are girls out there right now, the ones that are just obsessed with true crime podcasts that are just, I mean, I feel like they're using every vibrator on this case. They are so horny for this right now. I mean, because I feel like all the women that like love true crime podcasts are just diddling the skittle over this one right now. It's something that like they feel like they can be an internet sleuth on, and I fucking especially after watching that documentary on the Cecil Hotel, I really don't understand the whole internet sleuth thing, because they are just going over shit that has already been seen and then making random ass guesses because they don't have like the real information on what's going on. But now I started doing my own internet sleuthing. By that, I mean, I watched the body cam video, and I'm going to say right now, I don't think Brian Laundrie did it. I don't think he killed his girlfriend. And here's the reason why. So if you watch the body cam footage, the cops show up, and this girl is like outside the van, and she's crying, freaking out. And all the cops do is ask her, "What's going on?" And she hyperactively answers like 12 questions that they didn't answer. On top of that, the very first thing she says is, "My OCD," and then she starts talking about her vibes. And all I gotta say is, if Brian Laundrie was in a van with this woman for 2 months talking about her OCD and her vibes, and being she works at a juice bar, but she calls herself a nutritionist. 2 months, and he didn't kill her before then? I mean, I don't see why he would kill her after 2 months. Like, he's already dealt with all that shit. It just doesn't add up to me, man. Like, I mean, maybe somebody else killed her, and then he was just like, "Nah, man, I gotta bounce," because everyone always thinks it's the boyfriend or the significant other, right? And I could be fucking wrong. Maybe 2 months of it was too much and he cracked. But I mean, she was a beautiful girl, very annoying, but beautiful girl. And I mean, there's just so much a man would do for some tight pussy. It's wrong, but it's true. We're terrible people for most of us. And I'm just speaking from experience of being a terrible person for most of my life. But now the big story on the case is Dog the Bounty Hunter is after him. And Dog the Bounty Hunter, I think Dog the Bounty Hunter is really just going after him to, I guess, clear his name, because he was just all over the news because he basically said that he has a hood pass to say the N-word. And he was being interviewed by a black man who was like, who told you could say this? He's like, the brothers. And he's like, you let Eminem say it. Why can't I say it? And sure, Eminem used to say it like back in his rap battle days. But like once he got famous, I don't think he ever said it again. I could be wrong. I'm not the biggest Eminem fan, but I really don't think that he was huge on using the N-word all the time. But Dog the Bounty Hunter, apparently super homophobic and likes to use the N-word a lot. This was his way of jumping back on people's good side. He's like, yo, I'm going to go find this dude. And apparently he has better leads than the FBI does because he's already like tracked down a bunch of other shit. Apparently the guy rented out a boat and did all this other shit. And he found all this out before the FBI did. So maybe we'll get some answers one of these days. I'd like to see it that it wasn't him. You know, I would like to for once be it like a real mystery. Because usually these are open and shut cases, right? It's like the boyfriend did it, the husband did it, you know, the girlfriend, whoever. It's always somebody really close to you, right? So it would be really dope. It would be really dope to see that, you know, we have a change of pace. And also, it kind of really irks me that there's all these people that are protesting outside of his parents' house. It's like, go fucking find something better to do. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, I have a child. If my child came home and told me that they killed somebody, it would really, really suck, but I would protect them. So if anything, like if he did come home and say, yo, dad, killed this girl. She was talking about her vibes, got on my nerves. And he was just like, son, I got you. You know, your uncle owns this boat thing. We got you, we'll find you a way out of here, blah, blah, blah. Don't go start protesting in front of the man's house. He is just trying to protect his son. And also, what's protesting going to do? Do you think you're going to stand outside like rhyming something with Brian? I mean, and also that just works out too well that his last name is Laundrie because these people with these crime podcasts are just going to have, I mean, there's going to be a slew of different things that they can say. Is, you know, like, Brian Laundrie is all washed up. Clearly the tides have changed, you know. I mean, I could just imagine all like there's a Bounty fabric softener sheets on his head. No, there's so many different things that you could use with the whole last name Laundrie to I mean, hey, crime podcast people, if you want me to write some of these lines down for you, I will. I will accept a Venmo payment though. But yeah, so just stop protesting in front of the man's house. It's insane. Like he's just protecting his family. And there's other things to protest. Homies, there was just a 120,000 gallon oil spill right outside of Huntington Beach. There's probably all types of marine life dying. Y'all the same people that pretend like you gave a fuck about turtles when we were losing straws, right? Go fucking protest that shit. And also give me my straws back. No one gives a fuck about turtles, really. Dude, if you live to be 120 years old and you can't tell the difference between your food and a piece of plastic, you don't deserve to live any longer. Yeah, it was worth a shot. So yeah, Brian Laundrie, crime podcasts, holler at your boy. Let me see if I can find where I can't find my notes. Dudes, okay, let's see. Dude, okay, so have you I'm saying it like I have a guest. I've been watching this show True Blood. And I know, and everybody's like, okay, so like 15 years late, but my wife started watching it. And I don't know if I've already talked about this on the show because most of the time I just blank out after I do these. But this is the most ridiculous show, and I can't believe it was so popular when it was. If you haven't seen it, it is a vampire show based in like the New Orleans area. And I mean, it's really fucking dumb. These vampires, they I mean, I don't know. I would almost prefer them be like Twilight vampires. These vampires are so much gayer. And the whole premise of the show with all of the werewolves and fairies and I mean, New Orleans is kind of a perfect place to do all this shit because if any weird ass wild shit like this was happening in our country, it would probably be there. But I mean, I just don't understand it. There's people that like fuck vampires, and the vampires don't kill them, and then you can also drink vampires' blood. Like if a human drinks vampires' blood, then it's like this insane drug called V, and it's like heroin times 50 mixed with meth, which sounds dope. But also, it's just don't. What I'm saying is, if you watched this show when it was on and you were super invested in it, please hit me up because I want to know why. I want to know why this was such a big deal. I want to know why everyone, because I remember this shit was winning awards. There was people always talking about it, and I don't get it. It's straight up. It's Skinamax, but on HBO. It's HBO. It's just a bunch of fucking. It's a bunch of softcore porn, and that's all it is. Hollywood workers, like people that work unions and whatnot, are now striking because they have to work 14-hour workdays. They're upset because they don't get enough sleep, and anytime someone strikes because they have a job, it bothers me. And I get it. Like I work 65, 70 hours a week. It fucking sucks. But also, we live in LA where everywhere you turn, it looks like the fucking Walking Dead with homeless. And people just, people that fell in hard times, lost a job. And, I mean, sure, a lot of them it's just drugs, but still, like a lot of them didn't have the money to pay for their drugs or their house, so they lost it. So it just bothers the fuck out of me when like these people get all pissed off because they have to work a lot. Get the fuck over it. You have a job. You actually probably have a really cool job. Like, I mean, maybe you're just so jaded about it because you've worked it for a long time, but you get to be on movie sets. You get to hang around these people. You get to see, how the sausage is made when it comes to some people's favorite movies and all this stuff. It's kind of weird to me that you're going to bitch this much about, doing sound or or lighting or whatever the fuck it is. Just go in and do your job and take your days off when you can get them, and quit being a little bitch about it. Let's see. Oh, dude. So I've talked about Demi Lovato a few times on this podcast because she just drives me fucking crazy, because she's one of those people. She's one of those fucking people that she's not famous anymore, like for any good reason, right? Like, you were a singer, and then you did a bunch of heroin, and then you OD'd, and then people stopped caring about you. Jesus Christ. And then and then people stopped caring about you, and then all of a sudden you had to start making up all these things to stay in the spotlight, like fighting with a frozen yogurt shop because you thought they were fat shaming people. And then once you got in trouble for that, you changed your pronouns to they them so people would think that you're a hero of some sort. And now she's hosting a fucking alien show. She is hosting a new show on the Peacock network about UFOs. And it's it's called Unidentified. Oh shit. Stop it. So Unidentified is a new show that Demi Lovato hosts on the Peacock network about people that basically have alien encounters. So she goes around and she talks to all these people, and she tries to remain relevant. And actually, this might be the perfect lane for her to stay in the world of whatever, because it's something that nobody truly gives a fuck about. Because, okay, over the pandemic, there basically was the government saying, hey, aliens are real. And I didn't see a single person go, holy shit. Like, the government was like, yes, there are UFOs, and yes, there are this. And, that is a very broad statement, because unidentified flying objects, I mean, it could be anything, right? But, I mean, at least they did say it, for they spent fucking, 80, 70 fucking years covering that shit up, that there even was any. And no one cared when it came out. So I mean, this is the perfect thing to make Demi Lovato feel like she's still relevant, but also doing something that no one really gives a shit about. She can go talk to hillbillies about the bright lights in the skies that they saw, and then like stay off social media and quit being a woke warrior because no one really gives a flying fuck about you. A son created an OnlyFans for his mom. That's you know, and honestly, I fully back this decision. Sorry, dude, this is really fucking distracting. I fully back this decision because if your mom's hot and everyone is going to already fucking shit, everyone is already going to be telling you how hot your mom is all the time anyways, why not make some money off of it? Why not just say, all right, you all want to see my mom's tits and ass, pay fucking $10 a month to do so. So the problem is, though, he should have already made that agreement with his mom in the beginning when he said, hey, mom, I'm signing you up for OnlyFans, that he was somehow like the pimp or whatever you want to call it, the promoter. And he should have already been getting like, you know, maybe it's 60-40, whatever, you know, and the mom's really doing the work, so she should get more. But it was his idea, right? And he never made that agreement. So now he's big mad because his mom's making stacks and he's not getting any. So I guess he's suing his mom so he gets a cut of her OnlyFans. And I mean, Young King, you didn't play you kind of played yourself. Like, you had the right move. You just didn't think it all the way through in the beginning. Because now, son, that's your mom's money. And you need to respect your fucking elders, sir. All right, so I do want to talk about one more thing. I'm gonna just one more thing, and then I'm gonna be done with this one. We're gonna do a short one. Norm Macdonald passed away. What was it? A week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I never really got a chance to talk about this. Like I did the thing where, you know, you post it on social media, and you say, you know, R.I.P. to a legend. But it's just like that man, growing up, that man was like, see, I didn't want to do the thing on social media where you post a picture of the person, or you like scramble to find a picture of that person with you so you can make it about yourself when somebody dies. But being that this is my podcast, I'm going to make it about myself because he died. That man meant a shitload to me. That man, ever since I was a little kid and back when SNL was actually funny, he was the fucking, I mean, he was the highlight of that show most Saturday nights when Weekend Update would be on. And dude, if you go on YouTube right now, you can find two separate compilations of just him doing OJ jokes, because it was right around the OJ trial time. There's over 40 minutes of OJ jokes. He just, that was one of my favorite things about him, is he found a premise and he just pounded that shit into people's heads. And even if you didn't want to hear it anymore, he was just gonna be like, hey, guess what? OJ's a serial killer. OJ's a murderer. And then I mean, one of the best things ever was right after OJ got acquitted, Saturday Night Live, like what, 3 or 4 days later, Norm Macdonald just opens up Weekend Update with, well, I guess murder is legal in California now. Like, no one was saying that kind of shit. And he was just, he just said, he was one of those people that just did not give a flying fuck. And he just wanted the joke. And I fucking respect that so much, because it sucks when nowadays you have to really, when everything, I mean, I'm like right now, like recording myself, and everything can be recorded on at the drop of a hat. Like, you, if you don't do this for a living, if you don't do comedy for a living, whatever, you really have to like still worry about your job. Like, I could say, like, I don't want to say something so fucked up like that somebody's gonna be like, all right, well, I don't want to see him at his job anymore. And sure, that usually only happens to like people that with fame or even moderate fame, but still, there's always that lingering idea of like, people just get mad because they have nothing better to do, and they can take that away from you. But Norm was one of those guys that he just did not give a flying fuck, and he said whatever he wanted. And I grew up loving everything that he did. I remember when Dirty Work came out in 1998, I saw it in theaters. And I mean, there's just so many things about like that movie as a part of like Norm Macdonald's legacy. Yeah, if you think about it, it is like it's basically it's not even a movie as far as a movie is concerned. It's like 78 minutes long. It's what, like an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. And it's just him stringing together a bunch of SNL. It's him stringing together a bunch of skits, really, and kind of weird cohesion that really isn't that all that cohesive. And and he basically takes some of his best shit from SNL, like doing his note to self, and it's it's almost like he had a joke and he didn't know how to fit it into a scene, and you're just kind of waiting for that scene to end so you can hear Norm's punchline. And if you haven't watched it in a while, it's on HBO, and I rewatched it the other day, and it's still just as funny. It's one of those movies that I feel like it was ahead of its time. In the 90s, they really didn't do too many like R-rated comedies like they do now. And I think that if he would have waited and got it made like a little bit later, and it could have been an R-rated comedy, it probably would have been massive instead of it, being a total fucking bomb in the box office. But he was really ahead of his time. One of the funniest people I've ever seen live. One of the funniest people I've ever watched on TV. And yeah, dude, Norm was a big influence in my life. And I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you did, Norm Macdonald. You're a fucking hero to a lot of us. I'm going to call it quits. I got nothing else. I really wasn't prepared today. I just needed to get one done. Thanks for listening. Mazel tov.